Thank you all for being here. I want to start out by telling you a little bit about a young man I knew very well growing up in Southern California. This young man had a very difficult time fitting in anywhere. He could not connect with children of his age. He had very few friends. Was always misunderstood, bullied, ridiculed, ignored by children and adults alike, and always felt like an outcast. Anybody feel like an outcast? We'll talk more about that in a little bit. He suffered from a myriad of health symptoms, including digestive problems, palpitations of the heart continuously, chronic panic attacks and anxiety, and mood swings that would never end. Now, this boy's parents really cared deeply about him, so they took him all the doctors. But no blood test, no test, nothing, no person, place, or thing could console him or explain why he was having these symptoms on a regular basis. There was no explanation. Going to school became a big chore. Holding down a simple 9-to-5 job, even at McDonald's, was impossible and painful. Yet this sensitive young man never gave up. He endured the pain, the suffering, the ridicule, there was plenty of that, from family and beyond, the bullying, the anguish for decades, not fully realizing that he had an interesting little gift going on here, a very special gift, the gift of empathy. Now, who knows what empathy means? What is I see some empaths out here, like a whole room full of you. The gift of empathy, because this guy could feel everything and anything about everybody and everything all across the globe and well beyond. Yes, this sensitive man had a very special kind of radar. He was hardwired, DNA-coded, programmed to do something very different on this planet, and different from people in very different ways. Everybody around him seemed to be foreign. He was wired differently. And as a powerful empath and sensitive, he could feel and sense things about that others could not, about what they were about. Anything and everyone around him, he felt their energies, including his parents' energy. And he paid a price for that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I ended up spending 25 years in hospital pharmacy management. One day, an old colleague of mine calls me up and says, "Hey, Emil, you want to come over and manage a retail pharmacy for me?" I said, "Retail? I don't do retail. I don't do that gig." Anyway, I took the job. Took the job, and not long into this, about a month into working at a little supermarket drugstore, in comes this gal, this young gal, probably in her 30s. She hands me 6 prescriptions, new prescriptions, half of those to treat the side effects of the first 6. This gal was taking 12 medicines. She wasn't getting any better. I knew something was wrong and something had to change here. There was an answer, and I was going to find it. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was a very painful journey to actually figure out what was going on with these folks. It took some time, but I ended up working with natural medicines, and here I am today. So yes, indeed, I was bullied, scoffed at, ridiculed, tormented, and traumatized in every possible way, most possible ways, because I am different than other people. Anybody out here feel different than other people? You do, and you are. We'll talk about it. Different because I'm different than those who are less sensitive. We'll talk about what that means, but less sensitive people don't have the radar, the feeling, the empathy that we do. And like so many of you here today, I require very special care and handling in every aspect of my life. Health care, nutrition and diet, supplements, relationships. Wow, we'll talk about that. And so much more. So, I made it. I never gave up my mission, and we're going to teach you what your mission is here today, talk about that, and I'm not going to have you give up on your mission either. We're going to talk about that. Today, I'm going to teach you how to survive and thrive in a world that does not get you, and that is the subtitle of the book, You Are Sensitive. My name is Emil Faith, and I am an ultra-sensitive. I am a part of a very vast and ever-growing, largely unrecognized group until now, misunderstood group of uniquely coded, highly evolved individuals here on this planet on a very special mission. This is important. The mission is what it's about. And you're here to do the same thing. And I welcome you all to this very special club. So let's talk about you and me and the tens of millions of other ultra-sensitives who are quickly awakening right now as we speak. Okay. Have you ever felt like you couldn't tell anybody who you are? You couldn't tell your parents what you were feeling? Anybody have problems with that? Because if you told your parents, your siblings, your friends, they'd call the psychiatrist. This is the 1960s now, remember? 60s and 70s? And they would lock you up. And they say you're crazy. And there are still people dealing with that stigma here today. Been there, done that. Welcome to the club. It's a new club. You're in it. We'll talk about why. You are sensitive. Not just a little sensitive, and I don't mean, oh, I get a little tummy ache when I eat wheat or dairy, although you can have that. I don't feel, it's not because you are sensitive to perfumes, and you do have that as well. It's so much more. It's so much more. You are wired differently than everyone else, as we talked about. You are genetically coded to be a powerful receiver of energies, all energies. This is about energy. Our body is energy. Our aura is energy. That's all there is. That means, just because we're sensitive now, I'm going to get this clear, it doesn't mean that we're better than less sensitive people, but it does mean that we are different. This is not about an ego. This is about coming into your own, and it's time we did. What do sensitives do? We feel everything. Does everybody in here feel things they can't explain? You do. There are any intuitives in the room? Everybody should be raising your hand. Are there any intuitives? Yes, thank you. Energy workers in this room, healers in this room, teachers in this room. You are sensitive. We have great intuition abilities. And most of us have been this way since we were born. They didn't know what to do with us. Here's the thing. People always ask me, well, how do I know if I'm looking at an ultrasensitive? You don't know. If you're not feeling it, then they're not an ultrasensitive. It has nothing to do with looks. Ultrasensitive individuals come in various shapes and sizes. It could be the milkman, the basketball player, the trash collector, your MD, your holistic healer. It could be anybody. But oftentimes, it's not all healers are sensitives. I hate to say that, but I have run across the case. You can be a healer and not be as sensitive as other people who heal. So, and that doesn't make it better or worse, they just are. Ultrasensitives, it's not just about the female gender, although it seems that that's where it all started. There are men now coming out of the woodwork and coming into their own as ultra-sensitive males. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And you're looking at one right here. You are part of a large and important subsection of the world's population. And where do these people live? Where are these ultrasensitives from? Everywhere. Every culture, every country, everywhere, and they are awakening at a fast and furious pace as we speak. All right. So how many ultrasensitives would you guesstimate are on the planet? What percentage of the population, does anybody have an idea? What do you think? What percentage of the population? 40%? 10%. How about 50 to 60% and climbing every day? These individuals are hiding away. You don't know them because you can't see them because they can't come out. But they are coming out. They're socializing now. They're coming to conferences like this. They're calling my office and the offices of other natural healers to get help now. There are places to turn, and that's why they're waking up and finding out who they really are. All right. Wakening each day. So these individuals cannot come out. They have been afraid to. For fear of ridicule. My God, you're going to tell somebody that you see orbs flying around your bed at night and you can tell what's happening in New Mexico? I mean, you need to be careful about who you speak with. And this fear has kept ultrasensitives from going, I am different. It is okay to be different. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's everything right with it. All right, what is our job? Why are we here on this mission? I've asked myself that thousands of times. It has not been fun. Anybody having a fun time on their ultra-sensitive mission? No, it is not a bowl of peaches here, folks. It is challenging. And I've gone through my stuff. And everybody in this room has gone through their stuff. And the key is that ultrasensitives, many of them have no clue what's going on. And they end up checking into the carousel of allopathic medicine. And I'm not bashing allopathic medicine. I'm merely saying that if you're not careful, you'll get yourself stuck in a place where you're not going to get better and things could get worse. Now, there is a place for allopathic medicine. They are life-saving medicines. There are great healers in that arena. But for the ultrasensitive, as we'll talk about, it can be a dangerous place to get stuck. Okay, so going through this journey has not been an easy event. We have been energetically beaten up. Anybody in here that feels like they have been energetically beaten up? Because when I see people and I visit with them, I look at them, and it's not your organs. I'll take a look around the room a little later, but it's the energy hit that changes organ function. This world, this planet is vibrating at the highest frequency it's ever vibrated at before. These are unprecedented times. But we are on an unprecedented mission, and we're not giving up. You're sitting here today for a reason, and you're chatting with me. So through the ages, however, we have been ridiculed, bullied, ignored, scrutinized, overlooked, and emotionally and physically abused and energetically abused in various stages of our life, but we're still here. And here you are sitting with me. You are not a victim. I first started doing this talk, some gentleman came up to me and says, "It sounds to me like you're painting a picture of a victim." I said, "That's not my intent at all. I'm painting a picture of someone who's different and has a special mission to accomplish. You are not victims. You are actually blessed with this gift." It may seem tough to swallow that, given what you're going through and have gone through. This is a gift. And what is our job? What, at the end of the day, is the job of the ultrasensitive? Why did we choose this gift? Ideas? To be a bridge. That's a great one. I'm sorry. Okay, the answer is very close to this one. We're here to change this world. Anybody love the world we live in right now? There are some problems out there. There's some things we need to fix. So we are here to help usher the changes, not maybe tomorrow, like it's going on now, and we're an intimate part of that. And the key is to find out what your intimate part of that is, and to take the gifts, specific gifts of sensitivity, and parlay them into what you're here to do. And that's going to be your homework after you leave here today, is to sit down in meditation or with self, anywhere, anyhow, and determine what in the world am I doing here, literally, and how am I going to employ that in my practice, in my life? How do I make the change? I'm going to talk about why that's a difficult thing, difficult for some people to do. We'll get into that in just a minute. All right, so here are the traits and qualities of an ultra-sensitive individual. You may know some of these, and you may know somebody like this. Are you unlike most of your friends, family, and siblings? Yes. Co-workers? Who are those? Even from the womb, we are different. As soon as that cell gets together with the other cells, we are there. You've felt like an outcast all of your life, like you're on an island without Gilligan. That's how I've felt, alone. There was no one to talk to in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Finally, somebody got the idea that, hey, there's some people out here that are highly sensitive. Really? What's that mean? Okay, well, we're going to talk about what that means. No one seems to understand you. You understand them, but you can't talk about it. So the key is you feel them, but they don't know what you're about. Most ultrasensitives, or I will say all ultrasensitives, are intuitive. Some are extra sensitively intuitive, overly compassionate, overly giving, extremely emotional. Anybody emotional? Hey, good, because that's why we're here. We're alive to be emotional. If you're not emotional, as far as I'm concerned, you're not alive. Be emotional. But we are extra emotional. Overly giving, as I mentioned, or wanting to cry at the drop of a hat. I don't know about you. I'll be happy to admit as a gentleman that, You know, if I see a panhandler, and we have plenty of them, even up in our neck of the woods, anywhere, I feel for these people. I'm trying to figure out how, you know, I'm not going to house 1 million sensitive people or homeless people, but I want to do something. It tears my heart out to see this happen. I'm sure it happens for you too. But we feel their pain much more deeply than perhaps others do. The movie Knowing. Anybody seen the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage? If you want a better picture of what's going on and what's happening to you on this planet and how it might likely end up, rent that movie, The Knowing with Nicolas Cage. It's a wonderful movie and really is quite moving. And at the end of the day, we're here to move things. Our emotions, other people's emotions, change their health, and whatever else gift you've been bestowed with. All right, you are ultra diligent, yes. Ultra capable, yes. Yet you can't seem to get anything done. What's going on here? All of these many of these ultra sensitive individuals that I work with, they have these gifts and these abilities, and they're like, I don't feel like doing it. I can't get out of the house. I don't want to start anything. Do I have to do that? And it just goes on and on and on. Because you are nutritionally deplete, because you have energy damage to your body that can be repaired easily. You often feel the need to cry after watching those movies. You find that holding down a traditional 9-to-5 job is literally impossible. Here's my story. I'm sticking to this one. I worked at McDonald's for my first job. My mom got me the job. She worked there. I didn't flip burgers. I didn't like doing the greasy stuff. So they stuck me at the front, and I was the ticket taker. Do you remember, who can remember McDonald's when they had it? There was no cover. You just came to the front window, right? There's like 4 windows, and you check it and that was the guy. This is me. I loved it. I was so good at it. I was so fast. I won awards for doing this at that place. But the problem was, after interacting with my sensitive soul and about 300 people a day, 3 days a week, I literally collapsed. I literally became energy toxic. Anybody in this room believe they're energy toxic? Please raise your hands, all of you. Thank you. We are. It threw me out. I was down and out literally for 2 weeks. I could not get out of bed for 2 weeks. I'm 15 years old. My God, I was in great health until I started eating all that food for free, which they gave us free food. So that was my first job, and that was my first hit of, hey, you can't just tolerate the energy interaction with 300 individuals 2 feet away from you. But I had no clue back then what that meant. You often hear, see, and feel things that others cannot feel, hear, and see. Anybody having the ability to see spirits in their home or anywhere. Anybody see spirits? You see spirits, feel spirits, and great. That's your gift at work. That's your energy gift at work. You can feel vibrations at different dimensions and way, way beyond that. You often suffer from the classic ultra-sensitive conditions that the mainstream medical community would like you to believe are problematic and put you on medicines for. Anybody here have ADHD? Or no, you know what? I'll take a show of hands in a second. I'm going to list them all. ADHD, bipolar, boy, you're depressed. You can't focus. You have chronic fatigue. Anybody have any of these or know people who have had these diagnoses pinned on them? Sorry, there's nothing wrong with you. I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with you. You just are very sensitive. Now, that does not mean there aren't exceptional cases that need to be attended to. That does not mean that there may be a need for prescription drugs in certain extreme cases for a short period of time. That's what drugs are designed for, to bridge into some other modality. That never happens. Mostly never happens. And chronic fatigue, by the way, is the hallmark sign that you are indeed an ultra-sensitive on this planet right now. Okay. As an ultra-sensitive, you're subject to many of the childhood diseases growing up. Anybody have, well, this would be back in the 60s and 70s, the Asian flu, the mumps, German measles, rubella. This all happened, by the way. I had all of those in a row after getting, of course, vaccinated for these things. I still have the scars to prove it right out here. Okay, well, that was from something else, from another vaccine. But we tend to suffer from childhood diseases like asthma. Why is that? Well, these individuals at this age are going, do I really want to stay here? So it's really about, am I going to stay on the planet? Our soul is choosing. As we come in, we start realizing as a sensitive soul, like, my God, I don't know if I can make it. And some will leave early. Or some will stay on and suffer through the symptoms or work through the symptoms. Osteoporosis, low bone density. I saw so many lovely people today at my booth today, you know, to get to read with you and share energy. And there's so many people with osteoporosis issues. Well, there's a reason for that. Ultra-sensitive have sensitive energy fields, sensitive auras. Our energy field is sensitive and fragile. What's going to happen? The structure below it is going to be sensitive and fragile. Hence, osteoporosis is a classic event. Also, if you're taking the drug levothyroxine, you will be more prone to having those issues, but there are certainly some energetic issues associated with it. You're highly sensitive to fragrances, chemicals, medicines, supplements, environmental toxins, including that little gray substance they stuck in our teeth without our permission, by the way, at age 8. I'm talking about the mercury fillings. And I'm not here to lay blame, only to say that if you lived in the 60s, you went through that. And my parents thought they were doing the best darn thing for me. So they found a dentist who said, oh, by the way, your 8-year-old son has 12 cavities. Wrong. But they stuck in 12 fillings, and I still live with them today. And that's caused us some problems because heavy metals are an issue we need to deal with. However, it is what it is. So we easily become easily run over by heavy metal toxicities because we are so sensitive, by viruses, including Epstein-Barr virus, which is creating havoc to with sensitive people right now at this particular time. Candida, the other C word, if you will. Candida, we could talk about 3 hours on that one, and maybe sometime I'll get back here and talk with you about that. In fact, I am talking about it on May 28th in Phoenix. Okay, but Candida is the silent plague of the planet. Anybody know what Candida is? Yeast. It likes to live in our gut. We all have some. It's actually a beneficial organism, believe it or not. However, because of our drugs, our use of antibiotics, our stress levels, the foods we eat, and our sensitivity, and our sensitive immune system, which can't keep up with it, it can explode open. And when it does, your life is hell. It won't necessarily, rarely kills people, but I'll tell you what, it can demolish a life, and it does. So it is an issue that so many sensitive people have to deal with on a regular basis. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I had a gal who was so sensitive. We owned a string of health food stores in the Southwest for several years. And I had a gal that was so, you know what MCS, multiple chemical sensitivities. Anybody think they have MCS? If you have Candida, by the way, and by the way, 80% of this audience does, an overgrowth. If you have Candida, that is the cause of multiple chemical sensitivity. If you have that, it's very uncomfortable. I had a gal that come up to the window. Actually, she had to knock on the window of our health food store to pick up her items. We had to bring it outside because she couldn't handle the smell of the ribbon. We were using ribbons back in the cash register days in the 70s. So she had to, there's no way she could come inside the store. And I know other people like that, perhaps you do too. As ultra-sensitives, we are the black sheep of the family. Is this correct? Yes. The black sheep, often bullied, abused, left out, ignored, disowned sometimes. Disowned. Sabotaging us. We literally have, I'm sorry? Black is beautiful. It is. All colors are beautiful. But the black sheep of the family, and I was the cuckoo doctor at the time because my parents were cool. They just said, oh, do what you want. I don't know what you're doing, but just do it. But my siblings, hey. Anyway, the good thing is that 30 years later, now they're calling me the cuckoo doctor to help them fix all the things that you're going through. Okay. No one in your family unit has a clue about you. They are clueless. It's like, oh God, whatever. So it's just a big deal here. And they will often ridicule you, as I say, disown you, and literally sabotage you because they don't understand you. And this is a fear protection mechanism. If I don't like you, if I don't understand you, you're dangerous. I have to find a way to get rid of you. Some ultra-sensitives actually have to create invisible friends, because we don't have any real ones, by choice, by the way, for many people, have to create invisible friends to make it through the day. And I'm allowed to share this story. Sue said I could share this. This is about my wife, Sue, who in the, what grade were you in? 3rd grade. Because she was so afraid of energy, she could not go to the front of the class. She could not talk with me at conventions. But all that said, she couldn't get to the front of the class. She was very energy sensitive, and she could not stand in front of the class. And she couldn't stand the energies of the room. So she created a friend called Fleecy, a little flea that used to sit on the corner of her desk. And it is Fleecy, as I'm told, that actually literally, and I mean this seriously, got her through those incredibly difficult days. Because as it may be, I don't know how many friends y'all have, everybody chooses, but a lot of ultra-sensitives have no friends. Some by choice, some by, hey, this is the way it is, I can't be near you, kind of thing. So, all right. So, we have a deep appreciation for the arts. We like the arts. We like music, fine arts. We like the study of extraterrestrials. We're drawn to metaphysics, the healing arts as well, and other things beyond this planet. That's our draw. We're turned on by that kind of stuff. Anybody get excited about those kinds of topics? We do. We're kind of drawn to that. You are often energetically and invisible to others. Now, does this make sense to you? It makes complete sense because we're vibrating at some other frequency. And so when you're interacting with those who are vibrating at a lesser frequency, I mean, we've had times going to one of these fancy restaurants or any restaurant. This one particular night, there were 2 seats at this bar. We wanted them. We were standing this far from these seats right over here. And we were going to get them. But no, as soon as those seats were on, those other people rushed in and took them. But this wasn't just one time. It's like we're not seen. I'm picked last for all contests. I don't know about you. I was the last one picked for everything. These days, it's a little different, and I'm a little grateful for that. All right. You feel like you leave your body at times? Awkward times? I have people who've had difficulties when they're driving. It's like, oh my God, am I really here? I've had amazing anecdotal stories. I had one gal who told me, and she came to the office, she said, you know, I was driving down this one street, Tatum Boulevard, and I know I was going this direction. The next thing I know, I'm going this direction, and I don't remember the time between the two. So we do leave our bodies at night. We know this. However, I know people, I know someone personally, who tends to want to leave during the day and come back. But we just can't handle the energy. So we have got to take a little break. And off we go. All right. Many ultrasensitives have a poverty consciousness. I need to speak about this for all of you ultrasensitives. I saw this as I was getting in the industry, decades ago, and I always wondered why that was. It seemed that everybody wanted to give themselves away. They were so compassionate, so loving, and so, I guess I'm not worth anything. Let me do this for free, and because that's what you're saying. And we're exchanging energies here. I give you something, you give me something. So there has been, it's getting a little better now, in this part of the world anyway. So don't do that. You deserve what you get. You deserve it. Of anyone, we deserve it. We're doing the work right now. A lot of ultrasensitives, though, have an unconscious vow for poverty. You deserve success. You didn't come here to be mediocre. You came here to be brilliant. And that's what I expect from you all, nothing less. Okay? All right. You often suffer as ultrasensitives from hypoglycemia. This is a big word, but it's something you need to get used to talking about. Hypoglycemia means low blood sugars. And that's the reason you have hypoglycemia are several reasons. You're all protein deficient. You don't eat enough protein. You don't eat enough frequency of protein. And also, Candida does many, many things to our body. One of them is cause low blood sugars. And I would say to you, about 2/3 of this room, maybe a little more, is hypoglycemic right now. Because you are burning through more calories as an ultrasensitive, vibrating at your frequency, than a marathon runner who is less sensitive. You are blowing through calories right now. It's important. I'm going to talk about how to manage that issue. It's a big deal. But hypoglycemia is an issue. We need to control it. Here's one. Most ultrasensitives are malnourished and have significant vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Not feeling well? That's where I'm going first. When I look at you, I'm going to be tuning into what that is. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. It's simple, it's cheap, and you should do it. Okay. Some of the things we're typically low on when I look at individuals, the number one thing is iodine. Remember the old iodine? We used to have it in our foodstuffs back in the 60s and 70s. One thought, well, that works too well. We have to take it out of the food. That's how I look at it. Unfortunately, we need to have it back. And I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but it's not in the foods like it used to be. All right. Magnesium. Somebody mentioned magnesium, Dan did. It's true. Most of us are magnesium deficient, iodine deficient, potassium deficient, B12 deficient, all B vitamins deficient. Why? We have leaky gut syndrome. Heard of leaky gut syndrome? 3 words that basically mean candida is in your gut, and now it's drilling holes in there over the decades. You've had it there forever, and the nutrients you do eat, assuming you eat right, are actually getting directly into the bloodstream instead of getting into the cells. And that's why a lot of individuals with this have muscle aches and immune problems, autoimmune issues. So that is a deal. You often suffer from many food allergies. Anybody know they have food allergies? Everybody in this room has food allergies. I had a hilarious case come up where a gentleman come into my office. He had just come from his MD, and God bless the MD. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He ordered a blood test for food allergies. Pardon me. So he comes in proudly, says, "Doc, look, I don't have any food allergies." I'm looking at him going, that is figuratively and literally impossible. So he says, "But I know that I'm allergic to tomatoes." And sure enough, I checked him through applied kinesiology, or muscle checking, which is actually energy checking and aura checking. And of course, he was allergic to that and so many other things. So when you do get food allergy tested, please, however you choose, but know if you do the blood test, there are many false negatives. That as ultra-sensitives and sensitive immune systems, sensitive guts, you are sensitive to many foods. Most you would not have a clue. I have some individuals that can't get within 20 feet of a stick of celery. So you'll be surprised to find out what you are allergic to. All right. You have porous energy fields, as we talked about. Everybody knows what the aura is, as we discussed it. When the aura is fragile and porous, then the structure inside follows suit. And this aura and these energy fields that are our body are all energy, and any energy source can disrupt that aura and your body. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the energy disruptors that you probably already thought about, but maybe some you did not. Number one, and really most importantly, please pay close attention on this one. You are very sensitive to the negative energies of other people. Remember, we're energy. You're hanging around energy units. How do you like the energy? The energy in this room is fabulous. However, I remember going into rooms in my corporate America days where I'd have to meet up with these other individuals who are less sensitive, and I was forced to make decisions and sit right next to these people. That blew me away. I could not handle that. So the unhealthy or negative energies of people can tear you down, and will. The question is, who or what are you taking home at night? So if you're not feeling well, all of a sudden, after being out and about, out of your recluse, think about where you hung out. And you'll know where that came from. You'll figure it out. All electrics and all electronics. Okay, so that means cell phones. I have one. I'm not telling you to get rid of any of these things. However, be aware. This is electromagnetic fields, and we are electric. So anything that interrupts our little field can really make a mess of our body. Digital TVs. When digital TVs came out, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10 years ago, we were watching the movie Transformers. Seen Transformers? It's a real high-punch, digital-type movie on one of these TVs. I swore I thought I was going to have a seizure after this thing, because the pulse rate of that digital TV and the EMF from that, literally, I could not function for about 5 hours. We were supposed to go to a family event, and I was like, I can't even think right now. So those things can really knock us over. Microwaves. Microwave towers, power transfer stations, fluorescent lights. As a pharmacist, I worked under banks of lights for decades, and they're like this far from my head. I'm talking 12 banks, 12 hours of exposure, 5 days a week. That just about knocked me out. It did. It did knock me out. Spirit attachments. Anybody feel like they may have some energies attached to them that don't belong to them and are bringing you down? This is a very real event. These spirit attachments exist simply by tapping into your energy. They can't come down unless they use your energy to do it. So this can drain you significantly. If you have ghosts, if they call it ghosts, if you have spirit attachments, that should be dealt with, especially if you're not sleeping well and you feel anxious all the time. Local burial grounds that you live and work under. One of the health food stores I owned, we determined, was under a burial ground, and we had so much misfortune with that particular store. We doused it, we checked it. It was built, and they didn't care back then, built on energy ground that was very ceremonial to the natives, and nobody knew, and things did not go well there. Haunted buildings. And you walk in a haunted building and your hair stands up on your, well, it's because you're feeling, of course, the energies of individuals that are disembodied there. Okay. Spiritual grounds, we talked about that. We had a house that we lived in Albuquerque, actually. And behind this house was a nice house. Behind it was just open ground. And we were having some problems in there, too. We were getting more angry with each other. We were quarreling. There were some financial challenges for a bit. And we did our research. Sure enough, this home had been built on Indian burial grounds. And, of course, no one got permission to build. So those things are real, and they do happen. Any inanimate or animate object can mess with your energy field. And I'm talking about antiques. I'm talking about crystals, which we love and believe in. Those are energy units. And the energies of antiques, we don't know who handled those units. But all I can tell you is if you have one and you're not feeling well, douse your antique, all your furnishings that you did not personally buy, and find out if it's acceptable for you. It's a very real deal. How about the energy vortexes like Sedona? Everybody been to Sedona, of course? Yeah, magical. Even in Sedona, Albuquerque, the valley, the Phoenix Valley is a crystal bed. The whole town, the whole thing is built on crystal. Well, gee, what's going to happen when you live over crystal? It's going to amplify everything, good and bad. And we were told when we moved to Phoenix, hey, better get your stuff in order, because if it's not good, it's coming up, and if it is good, it's coming up. So better get yourself clear and straight. And it's been a challenge. We love it there, and I'm sure, are there any sites over here in Tucson? I'm not familiar with any vortexes here, any significant vortexes? Where are they? Oracle? I've heard wonderful things about Oracle, yes. Yeah, something about the missionaries being here that were unfortunately shot and buried exactly where they were. And so we still feel the residual energies of those traumatic energies. And that is the case on many roadways. That was one roadway we would drive from Northern California into Southern California. And every time I crossed this like 10-mile stretch around this area, I always felt horrible. And I couldn't figure out what that was. In fact, there was some very traumatic things that occurred. Of course, we have history. Things happened. We don't know what happened here unless you really dig deep. All right. We went to actually, if you've been to in Sedona, there is a crystal store. What's the name of that one at the Y out there? The Center for the New Age, I think it is. And if you remember, if this is the right one, the way I remember it is up in the corner, there's a tiny room on the second floor that's loaded with crystals about this tall. And it's about 6 by 6. And I'm walking in this room, and I had within 3 seconds, I'm ready to throw up. Literally nauseous. Because I'm very sensitive. So are you. So I had to step out, and I said, they look very pretty. Let's not have too many of those in the house. We have a few in the house, but we're careful because they're powerful. And you got to know what you're doing with them. And if you're that sensitive, make sure they're not affecting you in a negative way. Astrological changes. Oh my God. Anybody feel crazy? The last one, okay, and I'm talking about full moons, comets, planetary shifts of all kinds. The retrograde that occurred in January. Oh my God, I've never had, Mercury retrograde? I don't know all of that stuff, but all I know is I never paid much attention to it all these years, but this season, I literally was non-functional. I'm like, what is wrong with me? What was it? Oh, thanks for the warning. I'll lock myself up under a rock. Because I could not function. I had to cancel patients in the office. I'm like, I can't function. I don't even know who I am. It was the strangest thing, and within 3 days of being out of retrograde, I came back to whatever I am. So I felt back to normal. It's crazy. All right, barometric pressure changes. Well, what's happening? See, we're great barometers of energy. Why don't they just put us in a little box and we can swing back and forth when things happen? Because that's what we're literally dealing with right now. We are that kind of a barometer. All right. In a nutshell, as ultra-sensitive beings on this planet right now, we are easily moved in every way. We're easily also overwhelmed by these energies, and hence the issues we see with anxiety, depression, bipolar, God forbid, schizophrenia. For me, schizophrenia is nothing more than an extreme ultrasensitive who has severe nutritional deficiencies, usually acute and chronic candidiasis, and they can't handle it. They're gone. They've left this dimension. That's what's going on here. These are exceptionally sensitive beings who cannot cope and decided to stay. And that's why we end up seeing that. Sadly, that is the case. I find myself being an avid daydreamer. Anybody a daydreamer? Remember in the days, these days they call it ADHD. No, I'm a daydreamer. I'm sorry. I don't know. For me, I find it really difficult staying focused and present, and I really have to work to do my work. And I love my work. It's not work for me. I love what I do, but it takes a lot of energy to get myself in the position to do it. I want to talk about a little bit about the ultra-sensitive male, of which I am one, and of which I have wonderful cohorts throughout this room. By the way, do y'all feel the great energy that is in this room right now? Do you feel this? Do you feel, look around, these are all ultra-sensitive beings you're hanging around with. How does it feel in here, by the way, this room? Does it feel good? Okay. So we are among family here. All right, there are millions, and I'm talking tens of millions of ultra-sensitive beings awakening right now. I mean, right now. This is the appointed time. And many of these are men. Now, for many decades, for the eons, we're supposed to be the macho, oh, I'm cool, nothing bothers me, nothing affects me. And that's why for decades during the modern era, we have seen the increase in heart disease, increase in cholesterol levels, because these sensitive men have no clue what's going on. And they just ignore it. And they hold everything in. They're not emotional. They don't express a darn thing. They never go to doctors, which I can't argue with that one, but they don't. They hold everything in. And when you hold on to stuff, things change. You're a powerful receiver of energies. You're loaded with energy. I met a couple of wonderful individuals that I just like, wow, this is like too much energy here. We need to discharge. But the male has been the one who said, I feel nothing. I am in charge. I am the warrior. Don't bother me. Well, the reality is that many of these are just ultra-sensitive individuals in disguise, and now they're waking up. I had a gentleman come see me. We did an event in Sedona when the book You Are Sensitive first came out, and a lady came up to me, and she wanted her book autographed. I was happy to do it. She was in her lovely lady in her 50s or so. About 20 minutes later, comes this gentleman who's 6'5", burly guy, could have been a football player in any professional team. I'm sitting down, signing somebody's book, and this guy is waving my book over my head. And I thought, okay, I got to call security. I'm out of here. He came over to me and he said to me, with tears in his eyes, he said, you wrote this book about me. How did you know? The book had just come out, and at that point I could care less, so I sold one other copy. That was enough. But there are sensitive men all over. And it's time for us men to feel. It's time for us to be emotional and to express and say, hey, I need help. Because we don't ask for help. You Are Sensitive. The book is You Are Sensitive. I have it here, or you can pick up all my books on Amazon. You Are Sensitive. If you read the back cover, you'll say what everyone who has read the back cover says, and he says, you wrote the book about me. So there is something going on here, and you're part of this wonderful something. All right. So the bottom line is, as ultra-sensitives, we are different in every way. We require special care and handling in every aspect of our life, as we discussed already. Diet, healthcare, environmental exposures, careers, etc., relationships. So the key here is it's not only okay to be sensitive. Number one, you have no choice. You can go hide back under that rock if you would like, but I'd like you out here. But we have no choice. It's not only okay to be an ultra-sensitive, it is mandatory to express that, and it is the best gift you could ever receive. You are blessed to have it. Now, I ask you to dig deep after you leave here today, or maybe you've already figured it out. Find out what you're here to do with this gift. It's not by accident. We are here to change the planet. But the question is, how? How do you fit your cogwheel in there? All right. So with this gift, as you know, come many challenging health and life issues. We've talked about a lot of them. But let's get to it. What can you do now? What can you do to survive and thrive in a world that just doesn't get you yet? It's happening as we speak. They're getting it. We're getting it. All right, what can you do? Number one, nourish yourself. Once again, nourish yourself. Now that would be in every way, but specifically I mean in terms of nutrition. As I mentioned, everybody in this room, everybody except for maybe maybe 1 or 2 or 3 individuals in here is not protein deficient significantly. You are protein deficient, you need nourishment. Eat plenty of protein throughout the day. What is that? Turkey, beef, chicken, fish, nuts and seeds. Well, easy on the fish, by the way. And we are having problems with fish. I mean, you can call it whatever. It's really happening. I had a gal come in my office who had mercury fillings removed recently and then had a mercury load, because when you, I don't care how good your dentist is, when you mobilize mercury, you take it out. That's why I chose to keep mine in. So when people ask me, I say keep it. But this gal had it removed. She had a mercury load already, went out to have a fish meal. She ended up in the emergency room with acute mercury toxicity, poisoning. So careful. All right, nuts and seeds. Plenty of dark green and yellow vegetables, and we should be grazing throughout the day. Remember we used to be teased about, you're eating too much, you're grazing all day. Yes, that's what you should be doing. Don't need large portions, but you need to be eating something every 3 hours, because we talked about the kind of energy you're blowing through right now in order to avoid hypoglycemia. Anybody vegetarian or vegan? Please, I honor that. Thank you so much. I honor that. Please beware. You need extra special attention to protein. You need more B12. You know you need iron. You need all the B vitamins and iodine as well. And I encourage you, please take extra supplemental vegetarian protein shakes. And if I meet with somebody in the office and I feel like being a vegetarian or vegan is a detriment to their safety and wellness, I will mention it nicely. But I'm not telling you to do anything. I honor what you do. All right. By the way, extra spirulina. Any vegetarian vegans, that's a great concentrated protein source. The greens, spirulina and chlorella are very, very nice. And again, B12, please, under the tongue. Number 2. Hydrate yourself. I'm going to go out here, I'm going to say, about 60% of this room is dehydrated. Anybody drinking more than 4 glasses of water a day, please? Oh, you're doing well. Anybody drinking more than 8 glasses a day? Okay. Remember, if you want to do the rough estimate, it's half your body weight in ounces. Half of your body weight in pounds. That's the number of ounces that you need a day. Think in terms of half a gallon a day. Everybody's picking up their bottles of water. Yes! All right, you'll feel better. By the way, here's the one. You can lose weight by drinking water. It does decrease your appetite. All right, so drink about a half a gallon a day. Stay hydrated. Proper hydration not only energizes you, but it helps clear the toxins, and we are all toxic to some degree. Number 3, protect yourself. From what? Everything. Everything. Protect yourself from everything. From the energies of negative people, all people, places, and things. Clear your aura regularly. Have somebody do it or learn how to do it. It's not hard. Carry dark stones on your person. What kind of dark stones am I talking about? People know about stones? Yes. Tourmaline? Black onyx? What else? I don't know that one.
Shungite.
Sounds foreign. I like it. We do that one. Hematite, also another great one. Susan, anything else? Onyx. Lapis. Stones are very protective. The darker the color, the better they protect, because they take on the negative energies instead of you. So keep them on your purse. I work in front of a computer as a writer. I write a lot, so there's a big, huge specimen-sized black tourmaline that I have in front of my computer, and it absorbs that EMF energy in front of my terminal. And there are many ways to protect yourself that way, but protect yourself and learn how to cleanse and control your aura. Cleanse and control. You know what the aura is. Think of an accordion. If you want to engage with somebody, your accordion needs to be open so you're available to meet and engage energetically. However, as ultrasensitives, we pretty much had a closed accordion. We don't want to engage with anybody. It's not safe. It's very dangerous, so we think. And to some degree, it can be detrimental. So learning how to control your aura, opening and closing at a moment's notice, is very useful. Learn how to control your aura. Okay. Number 4, choose your health care carefully. Avoid harsh prescription medicines unless they're absolutely necessary. And if it's necessary, go for it. Try and avoid that excessive prodding and poking if it's not getting you anywhere. Try to avoid mood-elevating drugs like Prozac, Paxil, and the like. And drugs for our gift. They want to take, we're going to have to take Ritalin and Adderall and Concerta, all of these to keep us focused. Well, you know what? We're not supposed to be focused all the time. Sorry. That's a left brain thing. We are right brain individuals. Because we have something special to do here. And we have to feel things. And when you blunt the feelings and emotions with these drugs, it will keep you from on your path. You're not hyperactive and unfocused. You're gifted. All right. Get food allergy tested. We talked about that earlier. Here's one for you. Fix, this should get a little squirmy in the room here, but that's okay. This is for you. Fix or clear any unhealthy relationship. This is a challenging one. Fix or clear any unhealthy relationships, to include romantic relationships, work relationships, business partnerships, and my favorite, fake friends. Anybody have fake friends? We don't have too many. We have no friends by choice right now. Well, we probably do, but those fake friends. All right. Here's the deal. If you've tried to make something work, I'm not telling you to do anything, but if you've tried to make something work and you've given it your best effort and things aren't getting better, you've got choices. Make them. You'll feel better. Your energy will be free to be where it needs to be. Correct insomnia. Anybody sleeping 9 hours a day? Anybody sleeping 9 hours? Oh, got 3, 4, 5. Join the club. Well, here's the problem. The energies, as I mentioned, on the planet are really high right now. Number two, many of us are low in adrenal function. Many of us, especially women, are low in progesterone. We have issues with entities all around us because they love our energy, so they're buzzing all around us. And they're attached to us. Gee, how much sleep are we going to get? So there's that and so many other things that are an issue. So don't feel terribly bad. As you can see, most people are not sleeping well, but it's something we need to work on. It's important. Because if you don't have your sleep, you don't have your immune system, blood sugars can rise. We'll talk about the how. Okay, there's many hows. The key thing is to look for the underlying cause. And I'm pretty good at finding it. Underlying causes. And then we'll go through that. And there are some natural medicines that are safe to take for sleep. I try and avoid the Restorils and the Ambiens of the world, but for some people, I don't use any of that. But for those who need something, natural choices are available. Next, do you have gifts? By the way, anybody here have a gift? Please raise your hand if you think you have a gift. Do you have a gift? I want to hear it. You do. And I'm so blessed to be able to share that energy with you. You have a gift. Use it. That's why you're here today. Use it. Use your gifts. Each of us has a special and unique talent that we came here to use. Don't be afraid to acknowledge yours and use them to the fullest, because that's why you're here. We didn't come along for this uncomfortable ride. There's got to be something here for us, and that's what it is. Use your gift. Walk away from all negative situations. You know what those are. Honor yourself, honor your energy, honor who you are. It's not about being arrogant. It's about protecting yourself and being everything you came here to be. Socialize. Now, for a long time, and we still today, we're sort of hermitish. A lot of people stay away because they can't handle the energies. We don't want the interactions. We can't handle small talk because it's meaningless. Anybody have a problem with small talk? I have a huge problem. If I'm passionate about a subject, we'd be talking for a while. We're talking for a while. If I'm not interested. So make sure that you socialize when it's appropriate. And I mean socialize with the clan, us, ultra-sensitives, people you resonate with. Be careful who you socialize with, but being a hermit can be challenging. Plus, it's really important to have somebody who understands you, be a pal, and be around you and help you get through. Pamper yourself. When was the last time you pampered yourself, men and women? Yes, we go to the spa. Yes, we get massages. This should be done on a regular basis. We need to give back to ourselves. Don't deprive yourself of things you love. Pamper yourself. People who seriously deprive themselves of all the things they love are the most unhealthy and unhappy people I know. I have a number of clients who do this when they come into the office and Dr. Emil's talking and they take voracious notes. Oh, don't eat I say cut back on or reduce the amount of. They take that very literally and they stop all of it. And you want a piece of chocolate? Have it. Because those people, they end up coming back and they look and like, what happened here? Don't take away everything you love. It's not necessary. Even if you think it's not healthy, have it anyway if you want it. You'll be happier, and we want happy. Here's my motto. If it's legal and moral and doesn't intentionally harm another individual, do it. All right. More than anyone, we deserve to have pleasure, and that's the way to do it. All right, just a quick one on finding a mate. Again, a little squirmy subject here. Some people choose to be alone and like it. That's cool if you like that. However, it is always easier to get through these times if you allow yourself to take down the energetic stop sign that you're holding that says, hey, I'm busy, I'm not available, see you later. And there's a lot of men and women who are here that I feel this is occurring with. You don't have to find somebody if you don't want to, but if you want to, be cognizant about you. You're an energy transmitter and receiver, and people and other sensitive people are going to feel that. Like, I'm not getting near that person. So if you want, finding a mate's important, because right now times are challenging, and it's really great to have somebody who understands what it means to be ultra sensitive. Anybody been in, and I'm just going to ask this for show of hands, nothing further. Anybody been in a relationship where one of you have been sensitive and the other one is not? Please raise your hand. Yeah, this is a big deal. So please honor yourself, love them every which way, but it's important to find somebody who understands you, and it makes a big difference. Accept success. Anybody here want to be successful at something? Yeah, we all do, and we all deserve it, and you should. You came here to be brilliant. Yet when we say that to ourselves, we feel like, oh, I can't be brilliant. Yes, you can. It's not an ego thing. It's about my mission. What's our mission? We got things to do. It's okay to feel that way. All right. Accept money and gifts and opportunities when they are presented. And most of the time, we're not paying attention. You're getting little signs here and there. Pay close attention. Be discerning. They're out there. Things are being handed to you, and you're passing them by. All right, detoxify yourself. Are we toxic? You bet, we're toxic. Work with a qualified holistic practitioner or whoever you choose to get yourself cleansed. Liver, gallbladder cleanse, colon cleanses, colonics are nice. Candida clearing is mandatory, and I do that in the proper way. It's hard to get candida down, and there is a way to do it. And heavy metal cleanses and so forth. This will improve your mood, your energy, your outlook on life, and we need that. We need something to keep us going. Do regular body work. Yoga? Anybody? I got to do that. I haven't started yet, but I'm almost there. I'm almost right here to do it. I'm going to do yoga. I don't move well, but I will try yoga. Reiki, massage, anything that gets you moving, gets your energy going, do it. Keep your body, the physical part of your body, in good shape. I do recommend in certain cases supplementing your diet with high-grade vitamins and minerals. But let me tell you this. Most of the people that I meet have been to a million doctors before, natural and otherwise. They come into my office with suitcases full of supplements. You want to shut your liver down? That's a good way to do it. I had a patient that came in with about 40 different items. And I'm looking at her going, there is a little tinge of yellow on your skin and your eyes don't look so good. This patient had their liver already shutting down from supplements. Be careful. They do work. They are potent. Understand what you're doing and don't take too many. And if you need help, come to me or someone who understands what to do with them, or read the stuff online and make sure you know what you're doing. But supplementing with your diet with high-grade vitamins and supplements is sometimes necessary as a bridge until we get the rest of us back together. All right. Women specifically, and men too. Balance your hormones, please, naturally, because you and your significant other will be much happier. And we want that, not just for the SO, but for you to be feeling more balanced. It's a classic condition. There's very few women that I meet that don't have some sort of hormonal imbalance, especially if they're already taking hormones. It's like, what is going on here? And they come in with hormonal problems and complaints. So make sure you balance your hormones naturally. You'll feel better. especially if you have a history of polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. Familiar with that one? It's a cysts that grow on the ovaries, also on the breasts, and that's from high estrogen. Most women are in an estrogen-dominant state. This whole fallacy of, oh, I have hot flashes, give me chocolate, or whatever that is just not that's not usually the case. It's usually estrogen is high. Getting that control is very important. I recommend thermography, by the way. Anybody know what thermography is instead of mammography? Please explore that. Much, much safer and a great diagnostic tool. Okay, not everybody knows. Thermography is when they use heat to detect. They don't push these really tight, and they use heat instead of, what's the word? Thank you. They don't use X-ray radiation to do anything here, no radiation. So it's radiation-free, and they can detect what's going on. They use a heat sensor to determine what's going on in any part of the body, and for the breast, it is very useful. Avoid prescription medicines unless they're absolutely necessary. We talked about that. Natural options are available really for all health conditions, at least on my side of the fence. Exercise 45 to 60 minutes a day. You don't need to make this fancy, and I recommend, seriously, just walk. And you know what? The hardest part of all of this is that very first step. That very first step when you go, I'm starting a routine. Now, I started my routine like 35 years ago, and I power walk 30 minutes a day, 2 miles, not a big deal, but it's every day. And I don't stop because I know if I stop, I might not restart it. Make it regular, 30, start with 2 minutes a day. Don't push, level ground, walk. That is one of the healthiest things you can do to get your metabolism going, your mood up, and keep your bone density where it should be. Emote regularly. What does that mean to emote? Express yourself. We think of crying as one of the major emotions. That's a really healthy clearing tool. If you feel like crying, please do. If you feel like you need to speak out, please do. I see all too often the women who come in and have thyroid issues here, they have what I call bite your tongue syndrome. So for decades, to their family members and siblings and whoever it is they're interacting, you want to say something, but you didn't. You bit your tongue. In our day, that was a big thing. Bite your tongue. Don't do that. Speak out. Don't be malicious. Be honest and loving, but speak out. Otherwise, you will have thyroid problems from that cause and others as well. But definitely, you will have some thyroid issues if you continually fail to speak out. Plus, it's important to get rid of what's inside that needs to come out. If you have energy and creativity and all of this stuff in you and you don't do anything with it, you will have physical changes in your organs and glands. You will. And it can make you sick. So make sure, over time, so make sure you get rid of what's in you. You have anger and anguish and pain. Go to someone who can help you release it, or start working on meditation or hypnosis, whatever it is. If you don't get rid of what needs to be released, it'll eventually make you sick. But more importantly, there are so many people in this audience and everywhere else who say, God, I wish I could. In the back of their mind, it's like, God, I love doing that, but I don't do that thing anymore. So I'm going to take 1 minute right now. In that regard, I'd like you to think for just a moment. Close your eyes just for a minute with me. And I want you to go back to age 15. And some of you will say, I can't remember what I did at age 15, but you can. Go back and just relax, take a deep breath in, and just let your heart open now. That's another thing. Let your heart open. Most people close their hearts. Open it up and let yourself feel. Because what are you? You're intense feelers of energy. So feel 15. Yeah, there it is. All right. Now, there are many things you enjoyed doing back then that you don't do now because it's too costly, you don't have time, you forgot what it was like, you're too old. That's the worst excuse I've ever heard. All right. Y'all got it? All right. Anybody want to share? What did you do at age 15? Somebody raise your hand, please. Yes. What was it? You were in love. Oh, for the first time, and it felt great. Magnificent. Always is. Okay, who else, please? What a great feeling. So are you doing any of that now? Are you working out? Okay. Who else, please? Yes. Yeah. What did you feel at age 15? She said she was working out at age 15. and was the youngest one in the workout room, and it felt great. And now she doesn't do any of that now. Thank you. Dancing. How many dancers do we have? Awesome. What a great way to express yourself energetically, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and in every way. What a great thing to do. Thanks for sharing. Who else has got one from 15? Yes.
Felt like I was 40 because I was the Dear Abby of the class. So now I do drumming and singing, and I feel younger than I did when I was 15.
Awesome. Yay, a hand for this young lady. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. 94-mile hikes on your bike at age 15. Are you doing any bike riding at all today? Zero. This is the part we want to change. Don't feel bad about it, but now do you love to do it? Would you love to do it?
When I get my knees.
All right, we're going to work on that. Yes.
Professional singing.
Professional singing. Are you a professional singer now?
Yeah, I still am, but I haven't been doing it recently. I've just been doing art. It's kind of morphed into art, and I haven't been doing much of that right now either.
Okay, well, it's the idea here. You get the idea. We know what we like. Okay, Alice, tell me what you had.
I was very loudmouth. I did feel good about myself and didn't think that I was good enough to have good friends. I always picked the worst friends I could find.
How about these days?
I find good friends now.
See, that changed. We got great friends. We got great friends in this room. Thank you all for sharing your stories. But you can see the point here. We know what we loved at age 15. Most of us forget all that because we've been busy in this 3D world doing stuff that sometimes we wish we weren't doing. We want to do the stuff. We know what's in here. Go back, reach in, and make that part of your mission in terms of, hey, maybe this is something that I can do. I can parlay my gift and my passion for this and do something with my sensitivity and incorporate that in part of your life. All right. Clear your home and workspace? Please do. I don't know about you, but if you have clutter in your house, I'm going to find it. I know. Clutter is a huge toxin. Detoxify your house. Make sure you have only what you need. Make sure there's no entities in your house. Make sure that you're not on burial grounds. If you're feeling fine and you're sleeping fine, we don't have so many problems, but that's typically not the case. So clear your home and workspace of all negative energies. You will feel better. All right, finally, seek out help. In the 1960s, who was I going to call? Go to the yellow pages and find sensitive people help? I mean, people would laugh at that. They still laugh at that. So there wasn't those kinds of resources back in the 60s and 70s when we were really going through it for most of us. That was like, what in the heck is going on? There wasn't help. Or it wasn't readily available. We didn't know how to get it. There is today. I work with sensitive people all over the globe. I have a book out. There are others who write about sensitivity. It's out there. Get the assistance you need to be the most that you can be. All right. Also, if you're so moved, read my book, You Are Sensitive. The first book is a simple read about why and how and what, and the back half of the book has about 20 or 30 chapters on how to manage the very specific issues that we talked about today naturally. It's a good review of everything we talked about today. You are sensitive, and you'll learn more about your sensitivity and how to manage these challenges we face every day naturally and safely. Finally, before I close, and most importantly, I want to reiterate and to be rejoiced in the fact that you're not like the others, and that in fact this is a gift and you are here on a very important mission. I'm so blessed to send and share my ultra sensitivity with you. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. All right, thank you.